I always do write a little intro. This one I just came up with just now. I had to, because I had to properly introduce the power of Colleen.
Colleen's over here.
Oh God! Hi, Colleen. Man, you are talented.
He was pointing at some random person.
Well, I'm sure whoever was putting out there had a lot of power too. So more power to you. So she's got words made of cinnamon, perfume, and love lust. A classic beauty brought into modern day, her feel of power and emotion stays strange to a poetic frequency. Channeling our minds deep on the beachfront of stories buried in the soft, synthetic sand that is as delicate and boldly whimsical as she is. Strong and electric work of wordplay, she is one of a kind. Coming up next, we have got Colleen Dunlap.
Okay, before I start, I'm going to give some advice to everyone that probably already knew this advice, but if you wear heels, don't buy them the night before an event. Bad idea. Feet or die. So that being said, there's food here. Anyway, so I thought a lot about what I wanted to do with this set, and I kind of decided something I've been trying to do a lot in my life lately is let go of shame that I've carried around for a long time about things that I want, that I thought through multiple messages from society, family, Catholic Church, that I shouldn't want. And I'm letting go of that, and I'm trying to live more authentically. So the overall theme of the things I'm going to be reading tonight is that, letting go of shame and wanting what I want. So that being said, here's the first poem called To Almost from Maybe. It is in my book that is now available on Amazon. Woo! It's also known as the elopement poem. Put down your phone. Look up from your computer. Give me your hands. Look at me. Will you run away with me? Forget about your family. Forget about my responsibilities. Forget about how everything could go wrong. Forget about the comfort of the familiar and run away with me. All we need is the weight of a ruby on your ring finger and exit signs off the highway that lead to towns we don't know how to pronounce. We can make a victory lap of every place we've ever traveled without each other. Return to places where we once were alone, just to remind the universe that yes, I found her. Yes, we are in love. Yes, we have planned our life out together. I'll take you to see my siblings, and my sisters will ask a million questions about your intentions, and my brothers will accept you immediately. I'll take you to all the places I ever wanted to kiss someone, and we will learn every kind of kiss ever created, and then invent a few more. Please, run away with me. Let me use your lap as a pillow. Trace the lines of my tattoos. Kick me in your sleep. Teach me your favorite recipes, and we can sing along to our favorite songs and dance under starlight, and I promise, I will be good to you. I will give you all of myself and take only what you offer, and even that will be more than enough to make me deliriously happy. Darling, run away with me. I might already have the ring. Side note, I'm not actually getting engaged anytime soon. Just throwing that out there. This next one is definitely more about just like wanting what I want. It's literally called I Need to Stop Getting Feelings for Girls Out of My League. So, I want to love someone like you. Your love of life, your determination to find something beautiful every place you go, the way you drip poetry from your fingertips and leave rivers of color in your wake. I imagine holding your hand and looking down to see my fingers dye purple and blue and yellow from your touch. I imagine the flowers you'd braid into my hair, the lipstick stains I'd leave at the edge of your jaw. You are so alive, so vibrant, and I want to be part of that. I want to love someone like you. When you get a creative block, you spend a full day lying on the floor, music turned up as loud as you can get it, tearing pages from your old notebooks until the words rearrange themselves in ruined fragments to make something new. You pull worlds apart, only to rebuild them stronger and more beautiful than before. You are a healer, and that is a trait so rarely found. I want to love someone like you. Lazy days spent out on a blanket under the open sky, fingers tracing designs across each other's hands and up our arms, hair tangled together and breath mixing in the centimeters between us. Our chests brushing as we both breathe in, pulling away as we release that same air. My head tucked into your shoulder, your hand around my waist as you tell me the story of everything the sun saw when it rose that morning. I imagine the lingering taste of coffee and a long ago smoked cigarette on your tongue when we kiss. I imagine the poetry we both write about that day. Yours about the creation of a kingdom of two queens, and mine about the security and warmth I find in your embrace. I want to love someone like you. This next one is, so a couple of weeks ago I was thinking about like, hey, how come it's so hard for everyone to find happiness, like just to be happy with things? And then I realized it's because of a whole lot of things, including the fact that a lot of us have had to give up our happiness in order to just try and make ends meet. So this is kind of about that. When did happiness become a luxury? I've been trying to fit it into my monthly budget, somewhere between cereal and my Netflix subscription, lower on the pyramid than a new pair of shoes, but further up than going to the movies. I'll get down to the end of my list and check it over, try to decide which matters more. That extra credit assignment or an extra hour of sleep? Happiness or responsibility? A little extra savings or happiness? Happiness or the illusion of it? And more often than not, happiness gets pushed aside. How can I make time to find happiness when there's always another bill on the way, or another errand I have to run, or someone I need to check in with, or a thought at the back of my head that won't let me sleep? How can I find happiness when there's always another headline heralding the end of the world as we know it, always another disaster waiting to happen? People will ask me what would make me happy, and I suddenly feel like a person staring at a pastry case full of desserts after not being allowed to eat sugar for a year. Anything would make me happy. A different job, another cat, a vacation by the beach, a week without stress, her hand in marriage, a new book, a new government, a time machine. All of it would make me happy. But I don't have time for that. There's a timer going off on the oven, and an assignment due Monday, and rent is due next week, and it's still $100 short, so happiness is just gonna have to wait until next week, or maybe next year. Maybe by then, I'll be able to afford it. Now that's kind of the other thread. And maybe we're doomed from the start. Maybe between your wanderlust and my dedication to fantasies, we come with an expiration date stamped on our intertwined hands. Maybe I'm rushing my heart towards another break every time I look at you. Maybe you and I are a mismatched lock and key, or maybe just two locks that we keep banging together in the hope that the collision will be enough to make them open. Maybe we were never meant to be, and you'll end up being another name that I can't say without my heart squeezing painfully. Maybe I don't care. So what if we're destined to be another tragedy? That teary-eyed, shaking voice, aching chest goodbye could be years or months or weeks away. It doesn't stop us now. Now, we're all wild laughter and tight hugs, bruising kisses and tangled hair. We're late-night grocery store runs and midnight drives, the streetlights painting us in shades of purple and orange and gray. Now, we're greedy hearts and bedroom eyes, love poems scribbled on the back of dinner receipts. We're your signature lipstick smeared against my jaw, my favorite ring on your hand, and a promise not meant to be kept. Now we burn hot enough to set off a smoke alarm. Now we feel unbreakable. Now we know that we won't last forever, but we like to pretend we could. Okay, this is another one I kind of need a disclaimer before, I guess, similar to the elopement poem. Not actually happening. Really good imagination. Don't worry. Come home with me, she offered, her smile sharp and fingertips soft against the delicate skin of my wrist. I want to get to know you. The air is heavy with memories of thick honey and lilac. A dying winter skin is gentle on my shoulders, and I want. My parents never warned me about girls like this, the ones who are half seduction and half threat, the kind that could make me beg for them to tear me open, to fit their hands between my ribs and paint their nails with the red of my pulse. I go home with her, hold her hand as she turns on the lights of her bedroom. She lays me down, runs her hands through my hair, dances her hands down my body in a ticklish caress. I taste tequila and salt on her tongue, taste the sugar sweet of her interest. I had forgotten how it feels to be the one chased, rather than the one who chases. Later, when we're all smudged makeup and tangled hair and lazy kisses, she runs her hand down my arm. What's your favorite color? You know that soft purple the clouds turn when the sun goes down? She nods, nose brushing against mine. That color. She hums, cuddling in closer. Mine is this color, she says with a gentle tap to my lips. This bright red, deep color, it suits you. My parents never warned me about girls like this. Let me find the next one. I guess a little bit about the book. It's separated out into two sections. The first one is called Love Letters to Burn, which is mostly love letters and kind of what I've been reading mostly from tonight. The other section is called A Phoenix Rising, and that's all about self-love and coming to accept yourself as you are. Again, this is another love letter to burn. How did he kiss you? I want to make sure I'm not doing it the same way, you see. I want to be sure that the touch of my lips on yours won't wake a ghost of love's past, won't make you think of someone who used to stand where I do now. I want to know without a doubt that you are holding me and not picturing someone else's hands cupping your cheeks, someone else's forehead leaned against yours. I know our pasts leave their fingerprints, that those we love and those who love us will leave traces of themselves to be found in new people and new feet with you, because someone else once held me while watching them. There's a particular song you will turn down on the radio because someone else once sang along for you. I won't take you to a zoo. You won't bring me to that restaurant. I understand, and it's okay. But please, please, do not remember him when you kiss me. Do not think of him when our fingers lace together as we walk. Be with me here, now. Our love is just beginning. Please be here with me for it. This is some old shit. I've read this one here before. My tattoos are moving in my skin tonight. Butterfly wings beating against my ribs, flowers and vines growing and tangling, stars expanding and collapsing, a phoenix burning and rising over and over and over. My muscles are humming, ready to move, ready to run, ready to use some of this electric energy. I try to ignore it all, write it off as a fluke of a full moon and quiet day. I've been checking ticket prices to places I miss and places I've never had the chance to miss. I've been doing the math, trying to justify a 3-day trip to anywhere but here, trying to justify $300 to trick myself into thinking I can breathe easily again. The butterfly's wings beat harder. I've tried counting back to the last day I felt the world about to fall at my feet, the last day that thought didn't terrify me. Was it last summer? When I went to a bar with friends and laughed too loud and stayed out too late? Was it 2 years ago, when I lay on the shore of a great lake and soaked in October sunshine? Was it 3 years ago, holding the hand of the first person to love me? The flowers twine around my heart. I go for a long drive on my day off, waste time staring out across endless hills and the shadows racing across miles, and try to tell myself this is happiness. The air is warm, I haven't had a real winter in 2 years, I'm working towards a goal, I have family close by, my friends are a phone call away. This is happiness, this is happiness, this is happiness. When I get back in the car after staring out at the scenic overlook, I can almost convince myself it's the truth. The stars collapse. Over the years, I have cut off so many parts of myself for the comfort of others. I have held in all my anger since I was a child, have learned to press down sadness to keep it in my chest rather than let it show in my eyes, have tried to stop myself from loving the women of whom my parents wouldn't approve. Try as I might, these parts of me keep coming back. That love has been what keeps my heart warm. The sadness blinks back at me from mirrors on Tuesday mornings. The anger burns in my throat as the world gets darker. I am still learning to accept these things. Still learning to not reach for a blade each time I feel them. The phoenix rises again. I pace the apartment, check the ticket prices, make a mug of hot chocolate, call a friend. This isn't happiness, but I tell myself I can survive it until happiness comes around again.
Just for a minute, Colleen. So, what do you guys think so far?
Oh my God! Better than the Super Bowl!
Yeah!
Colleen rocks!
So, Hot Tamale in her hands has the magical tip jar. What is the magical tip jar, you may ask? Well, it is a jar that fills up with wonderful green stuff gold for our incredible feature, Colleen, otherwise known as our alternate Super Bowl program.
Is anybody getting this reference right here? What I'm doing? Statue of Liberty. Okay, keep going.
Yes. So bring us your inspired, bring us your poetic, bring us your huddled masses, and put it all here in this tip jar. Take it away, Colleen!
Thank you. Also, my friend Allison is going around with little cards with my book information on it in case you decide to go on Amazon later tonight and would like to buy my collection.
Woo!
Right. Okay, we're going to go with a slight, it's not really depressing, but it's a little more depressing than some of my usual stuff. And then we'll go back to happier stuff again. So, this is regrets. Tell me, dear, could I have loved you? If I hadn't felt trapped, if I didn't have an unending itch in my veins, if I had given you the attention you deserved, would that have been enough? If I weren't so afraid of promises, if I never saw happiness as a warning that worse was to come, if I had been able to accept that sometimes things can just be good, would I have stayed? Would you have wanted me to? You were kind and thoughtful and attentive. You looked at me like I was something special, were gentle with me in the thin veneer of my hard exterior. You were soft and let me play at being strong. God, why do I always walk away from the things that could be good for me? Maybe we would have stayed together. Maybe you would have proposed last summer. Maybe we could have been picking out wedding songs and flowers and venues by now. Maybe I'd be content, even if I couldn't quite reach happiness. Maybe not. Maybe that future was never meant for you and me. Ignore all that. Tell me, could I have loved you? Could you have loved me?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, so since there's not a show next week for Valentine's Day, I'm reading my Valentine's Day poem today. This is what I did last year, and I like it, so I'm bringing it back. This is Valentine's on Facebook. Now accepting Valentine applications. Must like cats, cuddling, and musicals. Please, no smokers, must be single. Dessert and movie will be provided, as well as a Valentine's date. Send me your sign, why I should choose you, and delete, delete, delete. Now accepting Valentine's applications. God, I hope my sister doesn't send me a picture of her cat holding a heart, asking if I'll be his Valentine again. It was cute when I was younger, but now it just feels sad. If I wanted a cat as my Valentine, I have 2 of my own. And please, Mom, don't comment on this status. I know you love me. I know Valentine's Day isn't just about romantic love, but please, just let me have this moment of weakness and of wanting a romance. Now accepting Valentine applications. You know, I've never really even liked this holiday. There's too much pink everywhere, and those annoying anatomically incorrect hearts everywhere, and I get so tired of hearing how everyone is going out for some romantic night with their significant other. It's not even that I'm jealous of their relationships, it's just that I am so tired of hearing that unless I'm in love with someone, I'm probably only living half as well as I could be. Now accepting Valentine applications. Note, I will not have sex with you, but I will make out with you. It's been over 2 years since I've been kissed, and I just want to be touched by another person and made to feel like I'm desirable, like I'm worthwhile. God, it's been 2 years and too many bad first dates, and I just want someone to kiss me. Delete, delete, delete. Now accepting Valentine applications. Please don't let any of the people I went out with a few times before deciding I didn't like them that much comment on this status. God, that would be awkward. Looking for love, but not with you. What a terrible conversation. Please do let the cutie from work that I've been crushing on for months see this and think it's cute and charming and worth chatting with me about. Please let this serve as the flirtatious icebreaker I've been waiting for. Now accepting Valentine applications. Send me a message with your favorite dessert and a bad pickup line. And post. What's my time looking like?
You are 11 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay. I did not plan for it to go this long. I mean,
You could do it.
Race to the finish.
We'll go with kind of a one that I've performed a couple times. This is 4 people I could have loved. For reasons I'll never understand, the taste of mint and the smell of pine trees make me think of him. They bring to mind summer evenings out on the shore of a lake as we sat and watched the sun sink behind the distant trees while our friends drew pictures in the sand. We never dated, but we would spend hours talking and trading music and promising that if we ever needed each other, we'd be there. He was a slight lisp and dark eyes and the warmest smile I've ever seen. He bandaged my wounds and ignored the fact that he was damaging me more than healing. He dated someone new every month, and I kept waiting for it to be my turn, only to have him tell me he loved me like a sister. His hugs were like being wrapped in a blanket that was a little too tight, comforting for a moment until you needed to breathe. I kept waiting and waiting for him to see me the way I saw him, but he never did. 2. She was electric blue eyes and a Slytherin smile, and always kept the heat on in her room turned up to feel like summer. Being around her was like orbiting a black hole. You were pulled in before you could realize what was happening. She was a master of distraction, telling you to look at this thing happening rather than how she slowly pulled you apart. And she tore me apart, looking for the pieces of me that she wanted to keep and trying to throw out the parts she wanted to change. She didn't want the whole me. She just wanted someone she could fill with her own thoughts and plans. She should have been kinder. I should have been stronger. There's a lot about our relationship that I regret, but the beginning and middle were what I had always wanted from someone. I felt alive around her, even if all we did was work on essays or have a quiet breakfast before running off to our classes. She was a constant, a shoulder to lean on, and sometimes I miss how I felt with her, but I can't bring myself to miss her. 3. I didn't expect him. Didn't expect to successfully turn a long-distance friendship into a relationship. At times, that whole spring still seems not real, like I had dreamed those few months when we would spend hours each day talking over webcam about our favorite books and songs, and how emotion isn't tied to a place, isn't confined to a radius around our bodies. When we finally were in the same place, I was so sure the stars were dancing for us. Whenever it rains, I think of him and our first kiss. It took years, but I am finally able to listen to our song again without crying. Neither of us did anything wrong. There are just relationships that aren't meant to last, and we were one of those. When I think of first love, I think of him. I remember museums and zoos and Heath candy bars. I remember a 3-page letter I never sent from just before we started dating, when I had never been sure of someone in my life. Now, last I heard, he's looking at engagement rings for his girlfriend. 4. I had fallen far before even naming what I felt. She is adorable and tiny and full of rage. She doesn't talk endlessly, doesn't share things easily, but she feels so strongly. Her smiles could power a city. When I feel lost or like I've reached the end of my rope, I call her and she calms me down. Even just having the phone open in a call to her, neither of us saying a word, just breathing, can soothe my nerves in a way I don't think anything ever has. She feels like home. Acoustic music and pancakes, and mugs of tea and hot chocolate cooling on the counter. I've held her while she cried over an idiot boy who never deserved her, who couldn't see the way her eyes light up when she's talking about history, who never heard how bright she laughs when she's just a little tipsy, who didn't realize she is the northern lights in human skin, bright and beautiful and just out of reach. She'll always be just out of reach for me. I tell myself I am fine with us just being platonic life partners, and I am. I swear I am. There's just a traitorous part of me that wishes she could love me too. Just gonna do 2 more short ones. Okay. So this is a really short one I wrote a couple weeks back. It doesn't even have a title yet, so. Any crushes right now? My mom asks, eyes bright and smile more open than I'm used to seeing when we talk about my feelings. I do my best not to think about your brown eyes, your sarcastic smile, the way your shoulders look in your favorite tank top. I tear my thoughts away from the nickname you gave me, from the rhythm of your voice, from the deliciously long email you sent that sits in my inbox for a quiet moment. I don't mention that I've been tracking ticket prices to where you are, that I'm learning a new language to surprise you and make you proud, that my most recent tattoo was for you, no matter what I tell everyone else. None of that will go anywhere, I answer, your name at the back of my throat. Okay, so this last one is the poem that gave my collection its title. It is called Restless, Reckless Heart. Again, it's available on Amazon. Does it ever feel like your heart is trying to claw its way out of your chest? Like there's too much inside you for your skin to contain until all you can do is pace and try to catch your breath and grab the keys and drive. Drive until you don't recognize the name of the town, and even then you haven't gotten far enough. You are still too close to who you used to be. You can still see all your past mistakes and loves and everything you no longer want to be in the rear view window, so you try to drive farther. Or maybe you just drive home, because you know you can't drive far enough without leaving your entire life behind. And you can't do that. You just can't. And so you go home and lie in bed with your heart trying to push itself out from behind your ribs, trying to beat its way out of the confines you made for it. You can feel it in every centimeter of your veins, how your heart wants out, how it wants to give and give and give until there is nothing left of yourself. And you're staring at the ceiling, thinking about all the love you have in your blood and bones and skin and all the words you've let go unsaid over the years. And suddenly, it feels like you are choking. And God, you can't keep holding on to this love. Someone needs to take it. Someone needs to accept it. When they do, I hope they're ready for it. They'll get more love than they know what to do with.
Woo!
Thank y'all so much.